Hello and welcome to Captions Live. I'm Mara, this is Eli, and today we are going to be walking you through the Mac app. If you joined us last week, it's going to be somewhat of a similar format. We're in a Mac app open beta for just Discord users at the moment, and we want to walk you through some of the new features and updates. We're already at version 3, so since our last live stream a week ago, we have some new tools and features already to show you, and we're going to walk you through them. And of course, you can leave us any questions, feature requests, anything in the chat, and we'll leave time for a live Q&A.
Cool.
Should we
hop right
jump into it? Perfect.
Let's do it. Okay, so first things first, if you haven't downloaded the app yet, you can go to captions.ai/download. That'll take you to this beautiful page where you can download the app. Again, Mac only at the moment, and if you're familiar, there are now 2 downloads because Apple created their own chips. So you've got Intel processor, Apple Silicon, and then you can also see we support version 10.13 or higher, that's High Sierra. And if you're not sure which chip you have, you can click on that little link and it'll tell you. Basically, if you have a new computer from the last 3 years, you're using Apple. Anything previous to that is probably Intel. With that said, once you download it, it'll go into your downloads, and then just make sure to drag the Captions icon into your applications. Click on applications, open it that way, and that way you won't have any issues once you open it in the future. So with that out of the way, you'll be greeted with your first time a nice blank page here where you can upload a video. I've obviously uploaded a few already. Pretty similar to iOS, where you can view all of your projects in a list. You can view your file name, the duration of the video, your dimensions, your size, and your frame rate. And you can also delete projects if you want. Good news, if you log out and log back in, or you get logged out for some reason, your projects won't get lost, which is really great. So definite improvement on iOS there, so Mac makes that a little bit easier. A few more housekeeping things to know. On the top, you can click About Captions. You'll be able to know which version you're running. As Mara mentioned, we have had a couple of updated versions already. This is now the 3rd version that you're seeing that we have available for our Discord customers. So version 1.3 is what we're discussing. A couple other things, you can click check for updates. If you do that, you'll find out if there's an update available. We're putting out updates about once a week or once or twice a week. If we have a new version available, it will actually pop and tell you and say a new version is available. It'll provide you instructions on how to update. So you'll always be getting the updated versions. This is really important for a beta because we need you to be on the latest version because we're fixing bugs, we're adding new features really quickly. So basically, it's hard to be on an old version. We more or less force you to update. So.
But the good news is, if you're in our Discord, we're always going to post in the Mac app update channel. If we've released anything new, Eli will show you. So yesterday, we released some new tools and features, which we're going to be walking you through shortly. And we shared it here. So you'll know when it's time to update, and when you open the app, it will ask you to force update.
Perfect. Okay. With that said, you can start by uploading a video. And I've got a couple videos here. Before we started, I imported one to save a little bit of time. So we're going to go through here, and we're going to click on this JSON video. You'll immediately be asked. So this is actually one that I added captions to already. So I'm going to click on the one that doesn't have captions yet. So here you can choose your language preferences. So you can choose English, or you can choose any of the other languages that we support in the app. Right now, if you're using right to left languages, that's Hebrew, Urdu, Arabic, Farsi, those won't work quite as well. We are going to add more improvement as time goes on, but just a heads up, if you're writing and reading in an RTL language, we have a few more updates before we can fully support your language. Additionally, we are only supporting the current language of the spoken person. So if the person is speaking English, you have to choose English. We don't have translation at the moment. We don't have dubbing at the moment, but I believe captions in another language will be available very shortly, followed by dubbing. So once you have this, you click your language, click continue. It takes about anywhere from 10 seconds to a minute, depending on how long your video is. Speaking of video length, we actually now support up to 10 minutes on the Mac app, so that's definitely an improvement on iOS. So that's exciting. And let's click into one of our projects that we have captions for already. So I'm just going to click on this first word here, and we can see the captions. Very simply, you can move captions anywhere on screen. You can resize. You can rotate. So those are kind of the basics. You can change it here. I'll keep them down at the bottom so I'm not blocking our friend Jason's face. So initially we're here at templates, and then we're actually going to launch this on iOS as well shortly, but it came to Mac first. So you can choose one of your different templates. This has some pre-built ones: serious, default, focus, highlight. I think we have 15 or 17 in total. And so you can choose the one that you like. What do I like? Let's go with bold for now. So let's see how that looks. I'll actually just click on play.
Really nice camera. It even has a touch screen, touch to focus. It's like a couple of years old. I've had this for a while, but
Okay, so really smooth timeline here. You can use your trackpad or mouse to scroll through the timeline word by word. You can also do it on the bottom timeline below. And if you have a trackpad, you can't see it, but I'm using 2 fingers to scroll left and right, which makes it really easy to get through your timeline, which is great. While I'm here, you can actually just tap on a word and change the spelling. You can hit return to lock it in, and you can use the right and left arrows to go from word to word. Simply tap return, and you can make any adjustments that you like. So if there's a proper noun or a word that didn't get capitalized correctly, you may want to make changes that way. And actually, let's do an example of that. Well, this font actually is all caps in this case, so that won't make a difference. But if you were to change the font and style, it would make a difference here. Cool. On the left, you can see these 2 nice, really blue styles over here. So you can click on emphasize to add or remove the emphasize, and you can click to supersize or remove supersize as well. So moving down the line, we've got styles. This is brand new for this version. You can customize your captions. You can change the lines per page to 1, 2, 3, or 4. If you're noticing, down here you're actually able to see what happens when you change the lines per page. So when you change the lines per page, it'll actually group your wording and your words in a different segment. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so when this is said, this is the last word in this segment. If we went back to 3, it means definitely would be the last word. So it's really clear to see how many words are being spoken and aligned on a single segment here, which is really nice. We've got left, right, and center, and we've got fonts. So different fonts that you can adjust. This is going to get an upgrade as well. Wet paint seems to be the most important in this case. In a future version, I think they'll all be the same size. Cool. And we don't have custom fonts yet, but that will be available soon. And then some other options here. You can hide the punctuation. That gets rid of commas, periods, question marks, exclamation points, I believe. And then transitions. How the transitions appear with either a page, a line, or a word. And then also one of the favorites on iOS is randomized rotation. So you can now see that this is randomized.
And I'll see you on the next video.
It's changing every time. If you do happen to correct it to center, it automatically will toggle off that randomized rotation, which is really nice. We've had a couple of customers reach out to us and say, I can't align the words, I can't align the words. All you have to do is click off randomized rotation, but in this case, it's a lot more clear. And then lastly, you've got active color. So if you have an active color as it's being spoken, let's try and find an example of that.
Check this out. And I'll see you on the next video.
Okay, I think on this style it doesn't support active color, but if it did, you would be able to see that the active color has a new target color as it's spoken, if that makes sense. Okay, lastly, we've got color. You can adjust the color for the text. I'm gonna make these red. Oh, it looks like this style doesn't adjust that much. There we go. Okay, so in this case, we have the default. We have pumpkin spice latte, under the sea, modern, and if you want to make changes, it's very easy to do so. And I love that you can do this in real time and see how it looks. If you do have a particular hex code, let's say for one of your clients, click on that arrow twice and you can enter in a hex code. I know that our black is actually not black, it's 1E, 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 which is easy to remember. It's not quite black, but black. That's our official Captions hex code, if you were wondering. Cool. I guess last step here is exporting your project. You'll be asked, it'll take a few minutes here to actually render your project, and then you'll be able to save it to a location. I previously did this to save on time, and you can see here it is
really nice
with Captions.
It even has a touch screen, touch to focus. It's like
Beautiful.
Cool. Well, that is the Mac beta in about 10 minutes.
And it does support horizontal videos too. All you have to do is import your video and it will auto support whatever format your video's in, which is another question we get asked often. Perfect. Well, now that we've covered Mac app, we can jump into a Q&A. I see a couple questions in the chat. If you think of anything else, you can ask us as we go. First question from James Hicks, our favorite veteran live stream viewer. He has a really great question. He's asking, when or will we eventually be able to sync projects between iOS and Mac? Great question.
The answer is yes. We haven't started working on it. We're getting Mac into tip-top shape, but once we do, iOS, Mac, web, Linux, it's all going to be there. I can't give you a timeline. It's not the short term, I will tell you that, but we know how important it is to be able to sync among projects. And this also opens the door for collaborators to be able to share this with your team and be able to work on a project in tandem. So that will all come once Mac is out of beta, I would imagine.
Awesome. Another question from Squoop. When the PC app becomes available, what will the video length look like?
Yeah, hard to say. Basically, what's happening and why we have these limits is that the computing power is happening on your device. So when you actually have the Captions running, we're using your iPhone hard drive and processor and all those things. The same with the computer. So in theory, we'll be able to have longer times with larger, stronger, newer devices. We also have the option to be able to take this offline completely and process it on our own servers, which we haven't been doing yet. So in the future, I mean, in theory, you can have hour, 2 hour, 5 hours. In the short term, we're really focused on short form media, less than 5 minutes. Again, this is now available for 10 minutes, but I think the answer is eventually much, much longer. In the short term, no change. In the medium term, we'll be able to process longer and longer as the devices can support it, if that makes sense. So no immediate changes in the short term, but I'd also be interested to know how long the videos are that you want to caption, and we can, learn from all the different use cases. I mean, we have customers, again, in every country in the world. We have some people editing 15-second clips, some people maxing out at 5 minutes. I've been here long enough that we had a max of 3 minutes. Some of you were here for that when we moved from 3 to 5. Immediately it was, okay, when 10, and then it's 10, when 20. We want to support it. We're not limiting this as a way to make more money or create some sort of a paywall. It's really just the processing power on your device. And we do it differently than CapCut and other competitors, if that makes sense. So that's always the rebuttal is like, well, what about CapCut? We do things, the processing a little bit different. So very long answer to your question, which is, I don't know on PC, but it'll be longer and longer as time goes on. Yeah.
Exactly. And likely, I'm guessing, since Mac app is 10 minutes, probably at its launch, it might be something around then, but we'll make sure to update you and we'll give you all of the details once it's launched.
With that said, I actually don't know if the 10 minutes is a hard limit. I would actually encourage you to test out 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I think as long as the size of the file is less than 750 megabytes, it actually might be able to be processed. I can't guarantee that everything will work perfectly though. I think it could support the import, I'm not sure captions will be added properly. So I need to check with our engineers.
But also give it a try and let us know.
Yeah.
It'll help us. Okay, awesome. Another question from Dawn, who also shout out, I think, has joined most of our live streams. So thank you for attending. Really great question. Can we export in 1080p or 4K?
It's a great question. I actually don't know if there's no export setting, so I think we'll probably keep the original. So I'm just going to do Apple I here to see what format this is. And I forget if Inspector tells you what format you exported in. So I've got the resolution. I have the size of the file. I know that on iPhone you can check the actual export size, so I wonder if I airdrop this to myself if I can find out. We'll have to get back to you on that. I think we keep the same format as what you imported, so I'm going to go with that for now, but I actually don't know.
What I will say though, in addition to that is, and this is why super helpful if you test things out and leave us a message in the Discord channel, specifically the thread we have started in Mac app. Our engineers and developers are in Discord and they're reading it. And I think one of the really common pieces of feedback yesterday was higher export quality and more export options. And I know that our engineers are already on it. So they saw that you wanted that, and we're going to see if we can try and bring that in an upcoming update. So I don't know right now. I think, like Eli said, it might just be matching the original
it looks
import settings,
like
but
it's
I think
about
we're
the
going to try
same.
to start giving you like more export options and higher quality export options.
Yeah, I can't tell. On iPhone, it's much easier to see. I know that. Okay, cool.
Awesome. That's all the questions I see in the chat. I think we'll just remind you, check on Discord. We'll probably have more updates coming pretty quickly. Our plan is to keep rolling things out on Mac like pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, if you open the app, you will be asked to auto update, but we'll also share what's new and what you can test and check out. And we really do want to hear your feedback, and we want to hear your feature requests. So you can leave it in the thread. You can also always DM me or Eli. You can set up a meeting if you want. We're happy to do a video call with you. Whatever you like, we want to hear what you think and what your requests are. And if that's it,
That's it.
we'll see you all later.
See you in Discord.
Thanks, everyone.